our show, Women on Women. I'm Shazmin Shamsuddin,
I'm Joanne Campopo.
And I'm Ning Baizura.
and it's a vagina episode. Our special guest, of course, is Dr. Premitha Damodaran from Pantai Hospital. She is a consultant OBGYN, and we say that because we all collectively cannot pronounce the word.
Obstetrician and gynecologist.
Hey, I said it the other day. Obstetrician and gynecologist.
In
It's a mouthful.
other words, the pipette doctor.
Suka lah. You suka
To simplify things.
Yeah.
That's easy to pronounce.
Yes.
So today we're going to look at the proper care and nurturing of your lady parts throughout all the stages of womanhood.
Yeah.
Dr. Premitha, what is the most fascinating thing about the vagina and vaginal health that you wish more people knew about?
Well, I think to me, what I need everyone to know is the fact that the vagina is the only organ area in a woman's body that's actually self-cleansing. There is no other area in the body, and even men don't have it. So it's the only area where, that's the area where the urine comes, the feces comes, but still the vagina is self-cleansing. So it's got this inbuilt mechanism that balances up the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. And that's what actually keeps the vaginal health A+.
So this is our brain lah, basically.
Memang pun that's our brain.
Well, let me tell you that there is
Yes,
a
I think
connection
so.
between the brain and the vagina. Yes, there is. So, okay, I will
Yes.
concede to that one.
to people out there,
Ah.
they will have to understand.
So when they say don't think like your vagina, is that a statement?
I don't think I want to go on that one on air.
Okay, well, you saw me making some faces, but, I'm actually really cool with this topic
Yeah.
because, those who have a vagina, generally at this stage in our lives, I think we're close to 50 or, just beyond 50.
Why you suddenly point to
We've-
me close to
We've
50?
we've lived with our
Yeah.
vaginas. We know all about our vaginas. but-
Better we
Correct.
live with our vaginas.
yeah, I mean, that said, we've had a lot of experience with our vaginas, so we know a lot. But why do you think, as a culture, Dr. Premitha, we're kind of reticent about discussing, the vagina and sex openly?
Well, I think, one of the main things is the fact that it is not, many people are uncomfortable to talk about it.
True.
It is not, when we start a dinner conversation and we mention vagina, everyone just looks at you.
Stops, is it?
If it stops the conversation. Let's say, you're at a meeting and you can't say vagina. But I think that's one of the reasons. So the vagina is like a V word that you just brush it under the carpet and it only comes out if necessary. And that should change
Yeah.
because it's part of our body and we need to be comfortable with our body. I wish, in many ways that, sex education is much more upfront in this country. I wish that children are taught to be comfortable, are taught to how to take care of their vagina, to know if any abuse is actually happening to them. And I think it all starts from childhood. And if we can be more open about vaginal care, taking care of our vagina, and mothers are more open with their children, the daughters, about how to look after their vagina for later in their life, it would actually be a comfortable conversation to be
Yeah.
held amongst the family members. And even then the correct message actually gets passed to the friends and colleagues, and that's how it would go. But it's not there. Unfortunately, we don't talk about sex in schools. We do not talk about sex in universities.
Sex
And-
education. you mean.
Yeah,
Yep,
and we
yep.
do not talk about, and elder members in the family, not many. Of course, I come from an urban population, so yes, there are some families who talk about it, but not out there in the rural areas and in the smaller towns. But if this changed, it would really go a long
Yeah.
way in helping that woman connect or that child connect to her body.
Right. I remember, like, when I was in Standard 6, of course, there was no sex education beyond what we learned
me
for
too, yeah.
biology and science, right?
Mm.
But I had one teacher, and she was a legend, Mrs. Ann. And she had 3 daughters. She was a much older teacher. She took it upon herself to actually, during one free period, dismiss the boys. And she had a whole class for us to interact with her and ask her anything about
Correct.
That's good.
you know,
You're so
fantastic.
lucky.
Yeah.
vaginas and everything that, even
Yeah.
feelings and relationships and what's this going on with me right now.
Yeah.
Being a 12-year-old girl, there are a lot of changes.
Correct. But it's lucky that you have
Hmm.
Anne with you. I mean, your teacher. But what about those, like you were mentioning also, is because of all these taboos that keep us from having that conversation. And perhaps the ones who are not in who are in the city, perhaps the girls, the teenagers right now, they're very resilient. They'll go out and find
Well,
ways.
I don't know whether they find the right information.
Correct. That's what I
Mm.
want to ask. How do you ensure that they, while they are trying to find out all this information, lead to the correct people who can advise them properly? Let's just say if they are in a school where it's a co-ed school, or where there is no one end that's out there that takes you on board
It's-
like like a
It's
mother.
very difficult. So you're really lucky, Shaz, because not many children have such great teachers who do that.
So lucky.
I did it with my own son, and I'm not ashamed to say that. So when my son was growing up, it became a sort of a conversation that, about sexual health and sex education. It came in little bits, when you saw a movie or when you heard a story. So it wasn't like one day you sit down and you hear
Yeah,
You
yeah.
give
ABC,
everything.
so it came
Trauma.
as small bits.
Yeah.
So by the time he reached like 10 and 11, it was like so passe to him, and it was
Yeah.
really nothing much to him. And then he used to then bring in, oh, my mother's a gynecologist, and then talk to others about it. And thankfully he gave the right, info to
Info.
everyone
That's
else.
good.
So that's why, coming back to what I can do in my clinic, I do talk to the mothers. I actually do that, because what I can do is tell them to talk to their daughters,
Yeah.
or talk to their nieces, or anyone that they know, because there are so many girls out there who are crying for help and not knowing where to go.
Yeah.
Right.
And where do they go? Social media. And social
Correct.
media is not
Or
correct.
YouTube.
And there's a lot of body shaming. There's a lot of wrong information that's being passed. And one of the biggest things that I do tell these girls or these women that come in is that no two bodies are the same. No two women are the same. Similarly, no two vaginas are the same. It is not. And
Yeah.
every one of us is different. And that's what makes us so unique. And, knowing that is really very important. So don't compare yourself to the next person.
But then, Doctor, now, I mean, the generation now, Generation Z,
Mm-mm.
there are a lot of things on social media, right? The
Yes.
doctors are actually representing and teaching and also, talking. So the kids now are so lucky. Like correct. Shaz was lucky. I wasn't. I'm from Kajang, not like a rural area, but in school we were not able to talk about it. There was just a van that would like come and give us some sanitary pads, and that's it. And you figure it out. So I mean, it was hard for me because I had to.
It turned out well.
It was still hard for me. Alhamdulillah. I mean, I'm really happy that, but I didn't even talk about it with my mother, even though my mom is a school teacher. She felt uncomfortable and to talk, but we never spoke about it. So I had to
Yeah.
figure it out.
I think
and
a
talk
lot
to
of
my
of
friends.
mothers are actually very uncomfortable to talk to their
Mm.
daughters about it.
One
I
of the
don't
was
reasons
understand
hard.
is because
why.
they are uncomfortable with
With
themselves. They
themselves.
themselves don't have much knowledge about their own body,
Mm.
about their own vaginas, about their own sexual health.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
So when they are not comfortable, they find
They
it
won't-
difficult
yeah,
to
they won't
talk to
talk to their
someone
children.
else about
Mm.
it. So that's where the barrier comes.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes they feel that it might be better that a neutral person talks to them.
Correct. I can
You know?
understand that.
So then you have this
third
group that
person.
would get them to come to see me. and they would leave and they would leave their daughters in the room and they would sit outside, and I
Let you
totally
do the hard
respect
work.
that.
Yeah.
I totally
So
respect that.
do you
Yes,
have
yes.
do you do these groups
I
regularly?
I do them on a one-to-one. I've been called to universities,
You
colleges, even my own son's school many years ago. Closed doors. Girls, boys, they don't ask questions because they're shy to open up
Yep,
and ask
yep, yep.
questions. They write it down. And I'm very
Ah,
okay with that. It's better you
Yeah.
get the right info,
correct.
Yes.
rather than, if
No
you're shy
info
to
at
ask
all.
and people would laugh at you, doesn't matter. Write it down,
Mm.
you know. So the idea is to pass the correct information
Mhm.
so that you are
Mm.
able to take that back home and look after yourself. That's all that we need.
So let's say if a girl right now wants to find out more about her body, her vagina, and of course things that are going on,
Changes, right?
that changing in her teenage year, where can they
Mm.
go? Is there a site?
Yeah.
Is there
So I would
somewhere?
always suggest going into a medical website.
Okay.
Like, if you don't want to go Malaysia, you want to go Mayo Clinic, you go to a medical website.
Yeah.
Plus, there are a lot of doctors who talk about it, like you said just now.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of doctors who talk about it. Do not go into company websites.
Right.
So go
Mm.
into medical, hospital-based doctors'
Okay.
websites
Don't forget
because
that.
then you get the correct information. But again, whatever information that we give you is still a very general information.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you might be getting about 60 to 70%. And always remember, take that back, apply it to yourself. And then if you need to do a one-to-one, find the correct doctor that you can talk to. So that's really important.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what's the funniest interaction that you've had with a patient
Well,
when discussing about the vaginal health?
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
on, tell us.
We want to know
Yeah.
some
So,
pipette
okay,
stories.
so I started off this conversation
I call
with
it flower lah.
I started off this conversation
Yeah.
with saying that the vagina is a self-cleansing
Yeah.
area,
Uh-huh.
right? And that's very
sure they are-
important.
Are they
for us to
uncomfortable?
And they're like,
now-
how do you clean it?
So I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
please don't use hot water daily.
Oh, don't use hot water too,
No
Je.
I
hot
didn't know
water.
that. That's probably
So
why I'm
everyone
having
is so
issues when I
OCD
was
about
young.
their vagina, and they would
Yeah.
use hot water,
Oh my
all
God.
these
When I was
perfume
much younger.
showers,
Soaps,
all
yeah.
these douches, because that destroys that whole
Flora, fauna.
balancing.
Yeah.
Now I know what's wrong
Okay?
with me.
And when that flora is disturbed, then
Yeah.
things go haywire. So that's my funny story. So here was a lady who
Mhm,
decided
mhm.
that her vagina should be perfumed.
Oh, are you looking at me?
Okay.
Because that was me.
Was it you, that lady?
Was it you?
And
I
so
was like looking for the
over
perfume
a
ones.
period of
The
1
pH
month,
level is different, right?
over a
Yeah.
period of 1 month,
Oh my
except for the
God.
time that she was not having her period,
Yeah.
she used to drench the tampons with perfume.
Wow.
No, lah, I wouldn't do that.
Not you lah.
That's too much.
Oh my
So
god.
Wow.
that, so
And
that you have a
insert
nice
in-
smell.
Yeah.
Oh
But
my
what turned around was the fact that because
bacterial.
yes, the pH changes.
Oh my God. That must have
The pH changes
painful.
went about, and then
yeah.
the bad bacteria came in. So she actually came in with a lot of vaginal discharge.
Ooh.
So that's the biggest take-home message I want today is the
Yeah.
fact that the vagina heals itself. It's wonderful. After delivery, it heals itself very well. It cleans itself. And, you need to respect that vagina because
Mhm.
that's, like you
What about
said,
the
the
douche? The
brains
douche.
behind everything.
Mhm.
The douche you're talking
No,
about.
no,
I
don't
used to
don't
douche.
use it.
Don't douche.
No wonder I got
You know-
issues with my.
So don't use
Okay,
it.
are we going to talk about your issues?
No. I mean, like, I'm just trying to understand, right? Because
Right.
during my time,
Mhm.
our time, it's like 1990s. It's like mostly douche, right? They don't sell it in like so. It's no wonder. I'm just thinking that
So
you have that
again,
kind of like
You have that
bacterial
beautiful
infection.
vaginal lining with
Ah.
all the good bacteria,
Yeah.
bad bacteria, what we call
Yep.
the lactobacillus
So it
that's
has
there.
pH imbalance.
Then you go and disturb the lactobacillus on a regular basis because you know what the gynecologist
Yeah.
societies around the world have actually said, if you need to if really you need to use the douche, you only use it once after your period. But even then you don't need to.
Yeah.
Okay?
Wow.
So once you go and disturb all that lactobacillus,
Mm.
then you are putting yourself up for infections along
Mhm.
the way. And
Mhm.
when we are younger, our body's really good. it balances up back very fast. But as we get older and the hormone changes
It's
come in,
affected.
the estrogen is
Yeah.
also very important for that balancing act.
Mm-hmm.
So when the hormone changes come in, then it's easier to have infections, tearing, thinning of the skin out there, and a lot of other problems that come in with the menopause. So looking after from the very beginning is actually very important.
Wait, before
Yes.
anything, let me just interrupt and say there are some people watching wondering what is a douche? Apa tu douche? Can you explain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So graphically,
Yes,
or
graphically. Essentially,
what
it's
can I
a
say? It's
device.
like a pump
Mm.
that actually shoots fluid into the vagina
to
so
flush it out.
depending depending on what is it can be a piston, it can be a flush, but it basically goes into the vagina and cleans it up.
But with a mixture of pH something something, right? Or the
I have no idea what can be in the douche
Mm.
That's the
because I've
thing, that's
also
very
heard
dangerous.
of coffee douches,
Huh?
vinegar douches.
Wow.
I have heard of all
Ouch.
sorts of douches. So
baking
again,
soda?
Oh my God.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But doctor, okay, these are of course advertised
Yeah.
as
yeah, yeah.
self-care,
Yeah.
right? Vagina self-care. That's
Yeah.
what they advertise all this douche and all that. I mean, in your opinion, are there any self-care tips that are natural that doesn't need to have douches and all to maintain the optimal vaginal health?
So your moisturizer, your daily moisturizer.
You mean the one that we use on our face?
So if you can use it on your face, you can use it on the vagina, right?
Oh, I didn't
Because
know
it's
about
Cotton
that.
undies or
So few things. One thing is that vagina is an area that is always closed. I mean,
Yeah.
most
Okay.
Sweaty.
Yes. Yes.
you
yes.
exercise,
Betul.
you go out.
Yeah.
You know, it's always closed. That's an area that collects sweat.
Yes.
There is no aeration.
Yes.
So if you don't have to wear underwear at night, don't wear.
Yep.
After your shower, moisturize. You know, the best moisturizer is
Baby-
coconut oil.
Ah.
Virgin coconut oil.
Not the one that you use for masak lah.
Boleh lah, virgin what?
Yeah.
Same
Virgin
thing.
coconut oil.
Lekit-lekit
No,
lah.
it doesn't. It won't.
Don't use so much.
Yeah,
No,
she's
no, I've
probably
never
overdoing
tried
it. But,
No, I've never tried
but
it.
it does
but
help. And it actually takes away the friction
Mm-mm.
from the underwear that you wear.
Right.
So sometimes some girls, when they wear pads, you get that
Mm-mm.
abrasion.
Yes.
You know, you use the diaper rash cream.
Yeah.
So now you have the
Oh.
oils so you use
Unless-
the
Okay,
oils
okay.
first and then you wear your pads. Simple solutions. So think about simple things. You
Mm-mm.
don't want to use
Wow.
oil, use Vaseline, you use anything that would be a barrier, and that actually helps. Shaving compared to trimming of the hair. So now if you shave, you are actually taking away the roots of the hair. Sometimes that also takes away the
Protection?
skin
Oh.
of the hair, and that itself can make the skin over a period of time very
irritated,
dry.
I
So,
see.
in many ways, trimming it short is better, or you go for laser. Expensive, but that would be
What
better.
about Brazilian?
Yeah, Brazilian.
wax
Again, takes away the roots.
But it
Depending
has
again.
honey and don't know what they're promoting.
Okay lah, buat lah.
You tahu tak? Okay, honestly, I tried. Lepas tu, I tendang perempuan tu. Sakit.
Memanglah
Again,
sakit.
depends
Why
on-
would anybody want to go through that pain?
So again, depends on how you feel about
No,
yourself and
yeah.
how you react to
I-
something like
I,
that.
I got half done.
Oh no.
So there is a reason for the hair. It's
Yeah.
protection.
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes we need to respect that reason. That
Yes,
the hair
yes.
is there for a reason.
Yeah.
It protects the vagina. So it's like the policeman there. Right?
Mm.
So you take
okay,
away
that's a
the
good
hair.
concept.
You take away the hair, and
Mm.
depends on how you take away the hair, then you can end up with trouble.
Yeah.
So moisturize, looking after the pubic hair, wearing cotton underwear, as you just said. Now G strings don't help.
No.
Because it just cuts
Oh,
through.
I would agree. No, so not good.
Tight clothes don't help.
Yeah.
If you go exercising, come back and shower. Don't sit around with sweaty clothes.
Yeah.
So all these little things actually play a big role in vaginal health.
Mm. Okay. So how does the vagina evolve over the different which a lot of people do not know actually, different stages of a woman's life? Let's just say once you get your period at the age, like for me, it happened at the age of 12. So what's gonna happen to them after that? So
Well, I think the changes actually happen at puberty, which can be about 2 to 3 years prior to the whole thing. The labial folds, the vaginal lips get plumper, the leaves, which is the labia minora, get thicker, they open up a little bit more, they flower. Let's use that, okay?
that's my favorite
Like a Georgia O'Keeffe painting.
You know,
Planted and
the
seeded
the
with
pubic
water.
hair starts
Yeah,
growing.
true.
So basically, that's what happens. As we get older, there can be pigmentation, which can happen with pregnancy,
Yep.
with menopause. You know,
Correct.
hormone changes can cause pigmentation, and then that's the way. You know, it's just like our face. We keep it moisturized, we keep it plump and nice.
Correct.
You know, if we do that, then the aging changes to the vagina is delayed. But if not, what's going to happen is then the lips are going to get a bit more dried, then they get a bit more crinkly, you know, and then it loses the elasticity. It doesn't look so nice. Then, you know, of course, with age, there are some things that we have to accept. It happens to men. It happens
It's
to
not like you
women.
can put Botox.
Yeah, because
Well,
have
okay.
people tried
Oh my
botoxing the
goodness.
vagina?
Can.
How? How?
Yeah,
Tell
that's
us.
called
Tell
vaginal
us.
aesthetics.
Okay.
Oh.
So what
You
do they
can-
do?
But
they
you
do
don't do
Botox.
it.
Okay,
in
because this
your
is all
hospital.
like
No.
because this is
It's a
technology.
non-FDA that one.
We are
It's
Yes.
always advancing in
That
technology.
one
You
is
see,
So
beauty.
vaginal.
this is also beauty,
aesthetics.
ma. So
Correct, I
what
agree.
is
Why
the
not?
What
new?
happens when they do that?
What
Well,
is the
I
new?
don't know much about it, and I will be the first person
Yeah.
to say that. But
Yeah.
yes,
Wow.
it has been. You can Botox the area, plump it up, but imagine you have to do it regularly. Botox doesn't
Oh,
last
God.
forever.
Yep, yep,
And
yep.
it's an
And it's painful,
injection.
ah.
No, I mean,
Fillers lah,
it's-
basically fillers, Botox, plump it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah,
So if
I
you
mean, that
cannot-
was never
if-
an option for me.
If you cannot tahan your Brazilian, how to tahan the Botox?
gitu
lah,
dia.
kan?
Kan? Dua-dua
Ah.
doktor pun I
But there
tendang
are
nanti.
there are treatments like that out there,
Correct.
right?
There are.
And there are
clinics.
also like treatments to tighten the vagina
Correct.
and
So
all
there
that.
is laser
Uh-huh.
that you can use to tighten up the vaginal
Yeah,
area,
with
but
mucus.
also to sort of improve your bladder tone.
Yes.
So those especially who have got things like incontinence. So it actually helps lift the bladder up. So it helps with that. But the problem with laser therapy, again, all these things you need to understand is temporary. So and it is expensive. So for the
Yes.
laser bit, you need to do it monthly for like 3 months.
It's
and
not
you
a
might do it
one-time
once
thing.
a-
I'm not
once a
shopping.
year. Yeah, so many
Understand.
thousands.
Yeah.
So you know, it
Not many
takes a
people can
toll.
afford
Yes,
that.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it takes a toll about all that. Yes.
Mm.
So you have laser surgery where they actually do that, or actual surgery to tighten up the vagina. You also have. We also ask you to concentrate on pelvic floor exercises or
That one I
Kegels.
always do.
Yeah.
So to tighten up the vaginal
doing it right
muscles.
now.
Giggles.
Now, many women read. They
But they
think
don't-
they're doing it correctly,
Uh-huh.
but they are not doing it
Oh,
correctly.
wow.
So
Okay,
it's
okay.
always better to go under a trainer
Yeah.
because that would be
Like
the
Pilates.
best
I learned that in
things to
Pilates,
do. Yeah, best thing to
actually.
do. Or
Reformer.
now you have what we call the Kegel balls. You know,
Yes,
where you
basically
put these
insert
balls
them.
into the vagina. No, actually, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
The one-
And you hold it in.
and
lah.
you hold it in. So you are
Oh.
actually.
So you're training your vagina.
Actually, it's
to-
very simple.
yeah.
So you do it at
Sounds
home.
so much like when I'm teaching singing. Because I asked the student to actually put a ball in the mouth.
Correct.
Just think
Wow.
about it. Instead of the mouth, it's the vagina.
So you are actually
How
then
long? How
There are
long do
some
I
of my
actually have to
patients who
hold
do
it?
it so well. They
Wow.
actually do housework and all that, and they continue
Wow.
doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the balls actually have got different weights.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
you know you build yourself up as
Yeah.
we go along.
That's new. I've never heard of a different weight.
Confession, I have a set.
Ah.
Yeah, and I
Okay,
think
send me the
every-
website. Okay, I need to learn that.
And
Yeah.
they've got
I'm
different
married and all
colors.
that.
They actually look very nice. They
Ah,
actually look
okay,
very nice.
okay.
Is it going to change your libido though
So-
after you've done the?
Libido, okay, so libido is a totally different
Yeah,
thing
exactly.
completely
Mm.
because libido is testosterone,
Mm.
it's brain activity.
Mm-mm.
But the woman's body is so, and the woman's
Beautiful.
mind is
Yeah.
is
Mm.
all connected.
Mm.
So if you feel better about yourself,
Mhm.
then
Why
you want to
not?
have
Then
sex.
your libido will
Shaz.
obviously
I never
enhance
knew
itself.
that you've got that. Very
Yes.
good for
You know,
you.
so
I didn't
it's
know.
all connected, because if you
Yeah.
don't feel good about yourself,
Mm.
you don't want to have sex. Correct?
Correct.
So
correct.
as I said, so if you
Yeah.
make yourself feel better, make your
Mhm.
vagina feel better.
Now we were talking about how the vagina evolves, from
Mm-mm.
from puberty onwards, and
Mm.
I'm just wondering what we have to look forward to in our 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Mm-mm.
Well, I like the way you said look forward to.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you should be looking forward
yeah,
to
we are.
getting older and
Mhm.
getting better. So I
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Okay. Now, one of the first things we have to do is accept that the body is changing. So
Mm.
accepting it goes a long
Mm.
way, and then you work at it. Correct. So if you don't accept bodily changes, you're not going to work at it. So like what I said just now, moisturize, keep it healthy, goes a long way. Doing your Kegel exercises, which you are doing, so you're in the right direction, Jazz. So all this keeps you well in the vagina.
No wonder you got nice skin.
So look after your vagina as you
Yes.
would look after your face.
skin.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
So
I also got nice
moisturize
skin, no.
Boyfriend je tak ada.
I just don't have
moisturize
this. I
up
start doing Kegels.
and
yeah.
down,
Yeah.
up and down.
Yeah.
But now
So-
you need to find a candidate ni.
I was coming to that.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Because unfortunately, that idiom, use it or lose it,
That's what we're worried about, right?
Yellow
actually is
Ah.
important.
Okay, so I've got
Because
to find
the
me
vagina is an elastic organ.
Mhm.
And
Right.
when the hormone changes
Mm.
occur, so they lose its elasticity and they collapse against each other. So then sex becomes more difficult.
Mm-mm.
But if you keep going with, okay, let's be frank about it, either with a partner, with a toy, I leave that to anyone out there who's comfortable with, with whichever. It actually keeps your vaginal health better because with penetration, newer cells are being regenerated.
Oh,
exciting.
okay.
So
So,
the moisture is better, the tone is much better. So if you do the other things about keeping it, using moisturizers, good lubricants, or even vaginal estrogen cream, having sex, drinking lots of water, doing your pelvic floor exercises, you've got nothing to worry about actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
what I
So
like,
look forward to it.
Yeah.
what I like is that you say, okay, that you can use your toy as well. So we need not necessarily
Tiba-tiba
need a man.
cakap pasal
We
toy.
don't have to go
You
on the
should know that
prowl,
stage.
We don't
basically.
have to go on a prowl. We can very well have a
The
whole
continuation
lot
from the
of
last.
variety
Yes.
of toys. And still
Everyone
keep it
to
up.
themselves. Everyone
But
be
don't
happy with
forget,
whatever
this is
they do.
for
Yeah.
people who are married,
Mhm.
Okay, don't go and like this. This is a disclaimer. It's like, for Muslim people.
No, I respect that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but sometimes as one gets older,
Mm-mm.
it is that relationship between that partner, the two partners, which is important, right? I mean, the both of them,
So,
because
yeah.
is it going to be a sexual act? Is it going to be just intimacy? It's that relationship that they should be happy about. So for some couples, it's intimacy.
Yeah.
And if they're happy with that and they don't, that's the best thing for them. If they want to have sexual intercourse, then what's good for them? If the husband is also able to perform or if he has any
It's
medical
also part of
problems.
communication,
Yeah, correct.
right? Yeah.
It's that communication and being happy in that relationship. If you do not have a partner,
Mm-mm.
then you have a choice.
Look at it.
Yes,
If you
banyak
do
tu.
not have a,
No,
like
then I
that.
talk about, you
choice.
have a choice.
Choice.
So I think it's again going back to yourself,
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
what you're happy with.
Mhm.
That's the key message.
So you don't
here.
have to wait for your girl to leave home. Macam I lain, I dah kahwin. But
Yes.
for
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
I find that both is really, really important.
Yeah.
Communication,
Correct.
intimacy. Kalau tak ada intimacy, buat apa?
Yes, correct.
Alhamdulillah, my
Intimacy
husband
to
is
me is actually
is
more
very-
important
Yeah.
than sexual intercourse.
That
because
is the
if you don't
sole
have that
connection.
If you don't
intimacy-
have intimacy, how are you going to communicate?
Correct.
If you don't
Yeah.
have communication, how are you going to deal with everything else?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
for
It's a
Ning,
cy-
she's
it's a
very
cycle.
lucky to have a
Very
partner
supportive partner.
that is
Good for you.
very supportive.
Mhm. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Not
not
everyone.
everyone
Yeah.
is that lucky.
Or that open with their partner to talk about
Exactly.
it. That's
Yeah.
worse.
So girls, don't
Yeah.
be afraid. If you
Yeah.
need to use other means, boleh juga.
Mm-mm.
That's all I'm advocating.
So use it or lose it.
Come.
Use it or lose it. Now I'm worried.
I'll borrow that one. Okay, so we've talked about waxing,
How do we-
shaving.
Chop, 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 chop.
Wait.
We jumped around a lot, which is
Mm-mm.
fine.
No, I
because
wanted to
it's-
ask her about cups, tampons, and
Okay.
can I?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
that's
do
in my
that.
chart,
Yeah.
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 So, Dr. Premitha, we've talked about waxing, shaving, and then trimming, and then douching, and all that. That's like
That's
you
a
know-
no-no.
No, no,
No,
So, is it good to wear just sanitary pads, or or even cups, pads, tampons? Because I was never educated about this, and if for younger people out there,
Mhm.
especially those who
Yeah.
got their period. I mean, your daughter, does she
Mm-mm.
talk to you about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's good. But
Yeah.
what about the people who don't really know
I think
the
we are living
benefits
in
of
a
it?
very. It's a
Open-
great age
Yeah.
because
Yeah, this is
you
the
have
best.
not only pads, you have different
Menstrual
lengths of
cups.
pads,
Yeah.
and you have night pads, and then you
Yeah.
have underwear with
Yep.
pads.
Yes, underwear that is
Fantastic.
bad. That
It is fantastic.
And a sanitary
Yes,
napkin that
and
looks like
Yeah.
I've
then
had
you
that
have
before. Yeah.
your tampons,
Yep.
which are also of different sizes.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Then you have menstrual cups,
Mhm.
which are also of different sizes.
Mhm.
And this is absolutely great because it's
Mm.
trying, a girl now is lost for choice because she now can choose what makes her or what suits that day or that month.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, for example, she's
Sporty.
swimming or she's
Mm,
sporty.
Yes, I
She
understand.
then can go on to a menstrual cup or using a tampon. If she's having
But what's important is the timing. They can't wear it too long, right?
correct.
Yeah, you were saying
So,
earlier.
I think what's important is how long you wear it.
Yeah, the
Okay.
hygiene.
So unless you wear an underwear, which is the pad the
Mm.
night pad underwears,
Mm.
but generally pads, I have a very strict rule,
Okay.
and I actually make them understand it because let's say that you are wearing a pad,
Mm-mm.
and naturally, if it's a heavy day, I know girls would normally change it every 3 hours.
Oh,
Okay.
mm.
But the lighter days, and let's face it, we're all guilty, yeah?
Yes,
We're all
yes,
guilty, and I've
yes.
been through this myself, where we have put it on in the morning
Yeah, we
and
have
then
no
balik
time to-
rumah in the evening,
Oh,
and
no,
then
no,
only
I've
we
never
change
done
it.
that.
Well, so that's what normally happens. Or they change it once at lunchtime or evening.
Mm.
Now, we shouldn't do that because of the fact that we need to think about the blood crusting on the pad
Right.
that can now get back into the body again because of the fact that
Yep.
Good.
it is still it's still that layer against
Mm.
your skin,
Mhm.
and then that can cause infection. So I've got the 3-hour rule.
Mm. Mm.
So pads, panty
Max.
liners, perfume, non-perfumed,
Mm.
I'm not bothered.
Mm.
But you change it every
Mm.
3 hours.
Right, and they
Okay.
have to like throw it correctly.
Correct.
Yeah, they have
Yeah,
to
this
know how
is the
to throw it
problem in
correctly.
Malaysia as
Yeah,
well.
You know?
It's
Yeah.
not
So hopefully,
hygienic.
hopefully someone teaches them how to throw it
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah. So the
Ye-
3-hour rule is really important.
That's good.
And that also happens with menstrual cups. You
Mm.
can take it out, clean it up, put it back on again. So just being hygienic,
Yeah.
being aware,
Yeah.
Mhm.
all these small things actually play a very
Mm.
It's
important
very
role.
important.
Yeah.
Right.
Dr.
understand.
Premitha, how do you know or how can you tell that a minor, I guess, vaginal irritation is not something to be worried about, something, something worse?
Well, I think one thing we need to understand is vaginal infections are really common. Every one of us,
Yeah.
once in our lifetime, we are going to get infection, having
Hallucinate.
have a vaginal infection. But irritation can come with what we talked about: hot water use, dryness,
Yep.
itchiness,
Yeah.
hormone changes,
Perfume.
constant wear,
Perfume.
constant wear of pads.
Yeah.
Tight clothings, all
Mm.
that can cause the skin there to chafe and get irritated,
Mm.
and that then when you pass urine, you feel uncomfortable. Then they
Mm-mm.
think it's a urine infection, but it's actually because the urine touches that area, and then you get this smarting sensation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the easiest way to differentiate it is that if you have a vaginal discharge,
Okay.
and you have irritation and
And
itchiness, then
yeah.
it's an infection.
Right.
But if it is just irritation or itchiness, but there is no vaginal discharge, then it's probably due to other reasons.
Okay.
But there's no harm going to see a doctor and getting it
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Gynae, OB/GYN.
Yeah.
So the best is
Don't
to-
be your own
yeah,
doctor.
Yes.
go and see a guy.
But
Yeah.
always, you know,
Yeah.
in the interim, try and look at what you've done, or
Right.
you know, that could have sort of triggered the changes.
Mm.
Do you think food also could?
I was just about to
Yeah.
open my
I was gonna
mouth. Thank
ask.
you. So, high carbs, high sugars,
You
I'm
can't
dead.
take that. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
so
dead.
that we can binge
Spicy
of
food.
high carbs, high sugars, changes
Right.
the vaginal flora.
Salt.
Mhm.
Alcohol
Mm.
changes the vaginal
Mm.
flora because you get dehydrated.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So, you know, one
Mm.
glass of alcohol, 2 glasses of water. So balancing act there, but
Okay.
none of us do
Caffeine,
that.
right?
Caffeine,
Ah.
you know, all these, and then you've got to see what's working for you. So
Mm.
every one of us is also different. We can
Mm.
take, you know, unfortunately, the more gassy the foods, the more
Yeah, the-
problems down
yeah.
there. So the sambar
Mm.
and dal in this Malaysian
How
diet
But
doesn't
So before
normally.
you get like before I got used to have my menses, now I'm on HRT, right? I mean, we just have the calling of wanting to have pedas food,
Correct,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
your
go to the
whole-
mama.
Yeah, betul.
So
Cravings.
how?
Stop lah.
I mean, I don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
But for those
Yeah.
people
So,
out there,
I think
it's
it is
like,
just trying to understand that this is because of it.
It's
Have a little bit, and then
yeah.
Okay, so we
Okay.
know about the food that
Mm.
okay triggers all this. Is there any food that we can eat to have better vagina?
avoid
health?
all these
water.
Water?
Very
Raw?
boring only.
Water only ah,
raw
but
water.
nets ke
No
apa,
lah, no need
nothing
raw
tofu
lah.
or
Oh, okay lah.
what.
No need
Ah,
raw
I love
lah.
tofu.
Ah.
Healthy diet lah. Basically, you're going back to
Mm.
lifestyle changes, healthy
Mhm.
diet.
Just for that
loose
3 days,
clothes,
whatever, Joanne, it's fine.
You know, obviously exercise is crucial for overall health, but is there a thing that can benefit vaginal health specifically?
what will not benefit vaginal health is actually the most important thing. So, trampoline,
Oh,
not
Oh,
oh,
really?
jogging,
Trampoline.
high
Jogging?
impact, because of
High
the fact that it's continuous.
used to
up
do
and
that.
down, up and down, up
I
and
didn't
down.
like it.
So
Right.
you
I
can actually
understand.
get bladder problems.
Ah.
Climbing
Okay.
is fine, right?
Yeah.
Thank God.
So, and depending
There
on
goes my
how
trampoline
you carry
class.
weights, so all these little
Yeah.
things. Not that you can't
Yeah.
do it.
Why?
I think it's being smart of combining it with your pelvic floor.
Oh, you change it.
Yeah, so you you know
Ah.
you can't just think, oh, I'm jogging, so you got to combine jogging with pelvic floor. You know, you've and the trampoline, and then you got to do your pelvic floor. Then it works, interacts much better.
But you already got pelvic floor,
So
ma.
yeah, but would you suggest that we should just opt to more like Pilates and yoga and understanding the connection of the body?
I think what's best is a
Mm.
combination.
Mm.
So we do know that
Walking
what
cukup lah.
we what we do tell you to do as
Yeah.
we get older is
Yeah.
to exercise at least 5
Moderation.
hours.
Yeah.
Sorry, 5 times a week.
Mm.
But it has to be a combination of
Of
cardio,
everything. Yeah.
resistance training.
Mm.
So it has
Strengthening.
strengthening.
Yeah.
So it has to be a combination. No single exercise works completely.
Okay.
And find what you like doing.
Yeah.
Don't find what your friends like doing or what other people tell you to do.
I
Because-
think we all don't do that anymore, right? We are like, all right, 50.
Kita dah tua dah.
No,
We
but
don't
many
we
do.
don't follow,
But
follow. We
many
don't follow,
do, because they
follow.
say, "Oh,
Yeah.
my friend did this, my
It's
friend
true.
did that." But they need to find what's comfortable for them, because
Yeah.
when you do that, you are more inclined to persevere and continue with it.
Correct.
Mhm.
Mm.
Understand.
So on a lighter note,
Mm-mm.
you've mentioned this a couple of times, but what product would you recommend that every girl should have out
yes.
there?
Virgin coconut oil.
See,
I want.
boleh aku
Alright.
kasih you.
Yeah.
You don't have to put. You can put
Now
down there, and you can put on your salad
now the
also
sales
after
of
that.
SEO gonna go up.
Wow, all in one. Dengar tu.
I'm never going to look at a bottle of virgin coconut oil the same again. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Premitha. That was enlightening.
Mm-mm.
Always.
Thank you very much for having me.
Do you have any messages to the
Yes.
especially
Yeah.
Well, I'm
please.
going to go back to what I said in the beginning.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's very
Please
important
look
to them.
after your vagina. You do not have to make your vagina over clean. It's got a
Yes.
system by
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Looking after it gently, be very gentle. Like you look after your face would actually go a long way. in vaginal health, especially when you go into menopause.
Okay, so it's a
Cool.
seed and a flower. It's got to grow.
Correct, and blossom.
So let it grow.
Kan?
Well, ladies, I think it's a wrap. This is
The
Wow
Show.